You're watching the Scoreboard, presented by Augur and Chainlink. I'm Andy from Chainlink Labs, and this is Chwy from Augur for Thursday, October 28th. A special shout out to my friend Sam. He's not feeling that great right now. Do you know why, Chwy?
No, why is he not feeling well?
The City fan. And things are not feeling very good for Sam. Sam watches this every week. He messaged me and said, "So Kansas City's bad now?" And like, there's nothing else to say.
All I'm going to say is I went Travis Kelce with my number one pick and took Mahomes with my third pick in my big fantasy league. So I'm feeling it too.
So we're all feeling it with you, Sam. This is a football show. Why are we on the Chainlink YouTube? Well, sports data delivered via the Chainlink Oracle Network is used by Augur to settle their permissionless, no-limit prediction markets. So Chwy and I look at NFL and NCAA football data and prediction markets on Augur, and we talk football data supplied by premium Chainlink data providers like The Rundown, SportsdataIO, and SportMonks. If you're a developer and you want some of those sports data feeds, you can get those links down in the descriptions. But we do make some predictions, and we made some interesting ones last week. So 2 weeks ago, you said it looked like a trap game week, but it wasn't that trappy. This last weekend looked like a real trap game week. It was the trap game week because we got trapped. So here's some bad calls that we made. Kansas City, everybody. I picked Kansas City. You called the over. The over did not hit. When did Mahomes get injured? So what's the timeline? How bad is this looking for them?
He got injured in the fourth quarter. He was already abysmal by that point. They were down 27-3 when he got hurt.
It wasn't all him, but certainly, going forward, major concerns as well with that whole franchise, at least for this season. I thought Tennessee was so injured and banged up from the week before that, Kansas City would kind of steamroll them. But the Derrick Henry train keeps on rolling. Is that what we're looking at here?
That's what we're looking at. And, the A.J. Brown show finally appeared.
Awesome. Well, good for you, Tennessee. Well done. Another rough one for us. Usually we do the good first and then the bad. Not this week. The Giants. You picked against your Giants, and they won. Not only did they beat the spread, they came and they won a resounding win.
Hell must have froze over.
Ooh, got chilly. It got chilly down there. Even bad teams win. Hey, we'll see if that works out for the Lions this week. It'll be one of their only chances to win a game this season. But who knows? So that was a rough one. Seattle and the Saints was another one that just turned into a stinker.
The weather definitely affected that. It was pouring. It was mudfest. It was just an ugly game.
Ugly all around. Here's my big bad one was Oklahoma State at Iowa State. I stuck to my cliche. Oklahoma knows how to win. No, they do not. They got stomped. They really, Iowa State just had them on film, had the energy or something, and they were not able to pull it off. So we did make some good predictions, though. So we both took Cincinnati on the points at Baltimore. Baltimore was favored by 6.5, and Cincinnati came and really put the hurt on Baltimore as well.
Yeah, Cincinnati played well. They have a lot of weapons on that team.
Clearly, I think I was actually getting confused with the college Cincinnati team, like just in my mind as I was thinking about it, because they're both really good this year.
Yeah.
And they're both just called Cincinnati. So, hey, go the state of Cincinnati. I want to say the whole state of Ohio, just given where I happen to live, but still pretty good. The other good one was Houston at Arizona. Arizona had a huge spread, and you said you were staying away from it because you don't like big ones. I said I'm sticking with Arizona, and they did beat that spread and continue rolling as an 8-0 team. We'll see if they can hold that up. This will be a rough week for them there. We looked at Tampa Bay and Chicago as well, and I said, hey, maybe Chicago can slow down Tampa Bay a little bit with that defense. You said no way. Tampa Bay will pick them apart, and you were absolutely right.
Yeah, even without Gronk and Antonio Brown.
So that is a team to really watch for. I mean, they've been favorites for the whole season, but even more so as they get those weapons back heading into the back half of the season here pretty soon.
Yeah, Gronk's supposed to come back this week, they said so.
Good. I'm tired of watching his commercials. We both picked Pitt to beat the spread against Clemson, and Pitt did win handily there and beat the spread. So good on us for a few things, even though we had a couple of surprises.
Yeah.
Augur used sports data from the rundown and other data providers via Chainlink to settle those Augur turbo prediction markets. Up next, we've got a new set of games, markets, and odds to look at. So let's talk NFL first. We picked a few games here that kind of stood out to me that were just really interesting. I wanted to get your takes on these. First, the 8-0 Arizona game hosting the Green Bay Packers. Arizona is favored by 6, or at least it was when I looked this up. Oh, we're recording a day earlier too, so the markets may be a little different. I don't know if that matters throughout the week, but we're going to put this out on Thursday instead of Friday. But if that matters, what do you see in this game?
So the line for this actually opened at Arizona -3.5, and then Devontae Adams tested positive for COVID. And then Alan Lazard, who is not vaccinated, was a close contact. So because this game's on Thursday, both receivers are out. So they're going to be pretty shorthanded. And that line, the spread jumped to -6.5. Now Arizona's favored. It jumped 3 points. So that's a lot. And then the over-under opened at -53.5. And then once they lost Devontae Adams and Alan Lazard, the line actually came in at -50.5. So really big movements on the line.
Are you seeing action this early in the week yet?
Yeah, it's pretty even. Green Bay slightly favored, 54.5%. 54% of the wagers have been placed on Green Bay at +6.5. The big one, the over/under, 84% of the wagers have been placed on the over at 50.5.
People are guessing that Arizona is still going to keep scoring regardless of the receiver situation on any squad.
And I think that most people think that Aaron Rodgers will keep pace too.
What do you think?
I agree in this one. I think we'll just get above the over.
Just above the over, a close one. I gotta write these down so I make sure and call our bad calls for next week. I don't know. I'm not comfortable with this one yet. I've had a lot of luck just picking Arizona because they seem like they're the best team in the nation right now. This could be one of those cases where now we're getting into trap games and they're playing decent teams. They kind of had a run of playing less decent teams, but who knows?
The only thing that worries me is this is a Thursday night game, and the Thursday night games have been awful and usually low scoring. But I'm bucking that trend, and I'm going to go with the over.
Okay. I like that. I like weird games though, so that'll be fun to keep track of. Tennessee favored by 1 at the Colts. Now, the Colts have been a really interesting team to watch as well because they seem to be a good team on paper. They have this terrible record. They've had a streak of bad luck. Tennessee seems to be coming out of the gate. We talked about earlier with Derrick Henry really running. What are you seeing here?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Tennessee. Indianapolis defense is, to start the year, they were pretty solid. They're pretty banged up right now. They just lost a couple more people for the rest of the season. So I'm going to take Tennessee on this one.
The fighting Derrick Henrys.
Yeah, that's my boy. I got to go with him.
He looks so good. He looks so strong. Sometimes you just got to make a prediction based on one single player. I think this is one of those cases. I'm with you here.
Yep. So early on, we're actually seeing 81% of the wagers on Indianapolis +1.5, which to me is very surprising.
All right. The crowd's going with Indy on that one. We'll kind of track that. I like seeing where these discrepancies lay.
Yeah, it's still really early in the week. I'm sure that'll get more in line as we get closer to game day.
Patriots at the Chargers. The Patriots were playing pretty well, and they don't have the greatest record, but I'm kind of haven't been tracking them for a couple of weeks. So Chargers are favored by 5.5. What's going on in this game? Just kind of give me some context.
New England just put up 50 points. Yes, it was the Jets. I feel like my high school could put up 50 points versus the Jets. And the Chargers had a really bad beat. Yeah, they played pretty poorly versus Baltimore.
Right.
Last time they played. I'm going to lean Chargers on this one. I think they're going to handle New England pretty. I think they'll cover the 5.5.
The Chargers still look good overall. And this is a case where the Patriots played a terrible team. Is at the Chargers. It's an East Coast team moving west. That shouldn't matter, right? Usually it doesn't matter for you.
That one makes less of an issue unless your name's Tom Brady and it's a night game.
So I know this isn't the flashiest game. Well, it was a flashier game when Kansas City is usually a marquee team. But suddenly this is not the flashiest game. But Kansas City, when I saw it, was still favored by 10 against the Giants. They've been playing so bad. The Giants just won. Like I feel like that's a really interesting kind of setup to come in. Is there momentum? Is there something going to happen here? What's going on with this?
Yeah, I mean, Monday night game, 83% of the wagers are on the Giants at plus 9.5. I guess it's still a little too early to know about the injuries on Kansas City. Mahomes was banged up. Kelsey's dealing with a stinger. Tyreek Hill is dealing with a bit of a quad injury, though I would expect all of them to still play. And I just can't trust the Giants. So
10 points. 10 points. It's still the NFL. The Giants just played. Man, I just don't know. Sounds like a stay away game, right?
I think Alabama could beat the Giants.
All right. Well, Alabama's good, so I'm not going to take that away from them. Those are the NFL games I had on my radar. Any others that you saw?
No, those are the ones I wanted to cover.
Those are some interesting ones. There's a number of college games that I saw that I thought looked interesting. The big game, the college game day game of the week, University of Michigan at Michigan State. Two teams that were not predicted to be that great this year are both now 7-0 rivals. This is, I'm a Michigan State guy, so this is a big day, a big week. I hate this is like the panic week because last year Michigan State was the 2 and something. We were just so terrible. 1 and something. They were so terrible. First year coach, COVID. It was a weird year. It was a transition year. But one of the only games we won was against Michigan, who was highly ranked, and it was just everything. Like though that sweetness, when you're not going to have a winning season or go to a bowl to beat your rival is fantastic. This year, Michigan's coming into town and wants revenge real bad. They look really good as well. So this just looks like an incredible matchup. Have you looked at this? What do you think?
I did. Line's 4.5. And I think the over-under was 50.5. I actually like the under on this one. Very similar teams, similar makeups, but I'm going to go with Michigan on this. Michigan to cover the spread, and I'm going to take the under.
That doesn't surprise me or hurt my feelings. I'm rooting for my guys all the way, but I really have my doubts, and it's because the last 2 weeks ago, Michigan State they played against Indiana, who's got a really good run defense, and they clogged the lane, and Michigan State couldn't get out and make some of those big runs that they've been doing this year. And Michigan has the ability to do that and watch the film and do that as well. They've got great talent to put pressure on the quarterback. So I feel like I'm leaning that way as well. But of course, I might just be hedging because I'm so nervous on this one because Michigan State wins. Oh my gosh, 8-0 after a 2-10 season. Oh my gosh, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that one. And it's a noon game. Oh man, the fans are so mad. Michigan State fans are really mad because it's a noon game and they want to party. They want to have the day to tailgate, but it's early. I think that was strategic on both universities' part. Yeah. Another Big Ten game, Iowa at Wisconsin. So Iowa is ranked in the top 10. They had a bad loss to Purdue. Now they're at Wisconsin. Wisconsin is favored by 3.5, but they've looked terrible as well. So I don't know what to expect from this game. This is just an ugly game.
Yeah, I mean, Wisconsin doesn't seem to want to hold on to the ball. I'm leaning Iowa.
Yeah, that made more sense to me. This seemed like a really weird. I'd take Iowa on the money line for this. Honestly, they've been playing well. So other than this one slip up from Purdue.
I agree. Over under on it was pretty low, and yeah, I'm kind of expecting something around 40 points. I think the over under was 36.5.
Yeah, not a game to watch by any means. But hey, the winner of this could go on to the Big Ten championship. This might be defining that. So interesting one to kind of keep track of there. Another game coming up, University of Kentucky favored by 2 at Mississippi State. I think this is the one where, Mike Leach in his early teams, he wins a game he's kind of not supposed to win. And everyone's like, oh, this is okay. And this might be one of those where Kentucky's good enough that it would be a surprise. And that's why they're favored. But, not good enough they can have their weaknesses exposed there. And Air Raid just does that. It does weird things if you're not ready. If a linebacker's not ready to drop into coverage, it can do that. So I actually might lean Mississippi State on this one.
I actually was also, which is scaring me. I feel like now I have to change it to Kentucky because we've kind of been in agreement on most of our picks today. But no, I'll stick with Mississippi State.
All right, we're going for the fighting Mike Leaches. I got to note this stuff down. I said Iowa and Wisconsin. We both went Iowa. Oh man, this is bad news. And we're both leaning UM. Oh no, this is bad news. Don't stick with me. I'm not picking that game. I really don't. I'm not picking. Teams from Michigan, Penn State, and Ohio State. Penn State is at Ohio State. Ohio State looks amazing, but they're favored by 18.5 points. I just picked 3 Big Ten games. Look at my Big Ten bias. But the Big Ten looks really good this year. Penn State has looked really good this year. That is way too big. What's going on?
Oh, I think Penn State's horrible. I do, but at the same time, I think they will cover that line.
This is where I was looking at it, and I started looking at the stats, and I thought, that's one where Chewy's going to say, that's what they want you to think. Or something like that. I don't know. I just got that feeling. But
that is what that line's saying. They want you to take the under. That they want you to say that line is too high. But
then I was looking into Ohio State, and they can really move. I mean, they're kind of back. They lost an early game, and so I kind of feel like they fell off the radar of the top 10 teams. But it's still Ohio State. They're still really good. They're definitely expected to be the team heading into the playoffs from the Big Ten. I feel like I hear no stories about them even just because everyone assumes like, oh yeah, they're going to win. They're just that good.
You know, after Ohio State lost to Oregon, yes, they did have a big win versus Rutgers, but you know, to me, Rutgers is the New York Giants. They make anybody look good.
I don't think they're that bad, but yeah. I'm going to take Ohio State on this one. I think this is one where they can run. They're at home. It's a big win, like a notable feather in the cap win for placement for the CFB, and Ohio State they get their guys up. So I'll pick against you here on this one.
So big line on this one, 60.5. What you thinking? Over under?
Under, because Penn State won't be able to score on defense.
That's where I was leaning as well. Man, we've really been on the same page today for the most part.
Well, I'm learning. That's what's happening. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. Now I hang out with you for however many weeks we've been doing it, and I start thinking about it. I can feel it too because I'm like looking at the data, like, oh yeah. Here's what I like. Here's what it's interesting to look for. Maybe I'm learning. We'll see how well I do. The last game of the week is another college game. There was just a bunch of interesting ones. Was Ole Miss at Auburn. Auburn favored by 2. It's at Auburn. And the over was 66. But then both of these teams score like crazy. So I was wondering about the over and what you thought about this one.
Yeah. These teams just put up points, man. It's like hard to go against it. But because I just said that, I'm going to take the under on this.
I looked at the offense, and they're both like ranked in the top 40 or 30 in offense, scoring offense, and then both below average on defense. It was just a simple. They're all just going to score. There's whoever gets the turnover or more turnovers is going to win, but everyone's going to get a bunch of touchdowns.
Yeah, it seems like whoever's going to end up with that last possession.
So you went for the under on this one. I'll take the over. All right, we got a little bit to compare here.
Yeah, I just felt like the whole world's going to take the over on this one.
We talked a couple of weeks ago. Those are the games I have. You see any other college games?
No, I think we're good with that.
Those are good. We talked a couple of weeks about who the best player in the NFL is, and Derrick Henry kind of came from you. What about quarterbacks? I think with Mahomes playing the way he has this season,
yeah, he's definitely out of the discussion.
He's got to be out.
I'm a big Kyler Murray guy. His baseball past, and he's electric. I know you like the Baltimore guy.
I like Lamar, but Kyler Murray has been growing on me. I've been thinking about him. I mean, Arizona. Is it Josh Allen as well for Buffalo? So he was playing really well for a little while as well. Some really interesting like off-foot throws in some weird ways to score some touchdowns. But I think Kyler Murray's those guys got to be in the running right now.
Yeah, your boy Lamar pulled old Patrick Mahomes, no look, 30-yard throw downfield facing the other direction. It was pretty sweet.
Sometimes it's pure magic, and that's how you got to hit it. Cool, man. Let's see. I think that's it. That's what we got. So let me do my outro. That's the scoreboard for this week. This is absolutely not financial advice. It's a look at football and how Augur and Chainlink make on-chain games possible. Next week, we'll be back. We'll look at how the markets performed this week. And of course, we'll follow the major stories for next week's games. Check in with Sam, see if he's holding up okay. Like and subscribe. If you're a developer and you want to use Chainlink sports data, you can check the links in the description. Chwy, I'll see you later, man.
See you next week.